I have a lot of friends that own roofing companies throughout the country and even in the state of Florida. Orlando, Tampa, Jacksonville, on the Panhandle. And it's very interesting looking at how things are performed here in South Florida versus other places in the country. Some other places in the country, they actually don't have a roofing license as a requirement, which is insane to me. Other areas of the country, they can start a roof and finish a roof in the same day and just take pictures and show it to the inspector and pass. Also completely insane to me. So South Florida building code has adapted since Hurricane Andrew hit us. And it comes down to two things. It's people doing things the wrong way, and it's a lot of people taking advantage of homeowners. So the building code here in South Florida actually changed a lot after Hurricane Andrew. So previously it wasn't so stringent. And what ended up happening is a lot of homeowners were taken advantage of. A lot of people did roofs the wrong way here. And then a lot of the standards changed because insurance companies basically lobbied with the state officials to create a stronger code as a reason for them to stay in South Florida. Because if not, after Hurricane Andrew, that they all took a very big hit. And at the end of the day, it's a business. It has to make sense for them to stay here. So between all that, we developed the South Florida Building Code, which actually the whole world models itself in one way or another based off the South Florida Building Code. So unfortunately with that, what ended up happening is our inspection process is longer. We can't tear off, dry in, and turn over a roof in one day. That would make me very happy, but it's not a possibility. So what we have to do here in South Florida is we have to tear off the roof, dry it in, call an inspection. We have to do a sample of what we're doing with the roof, get that inspected, and then we can proceed to finish the roof and then call final inspection. And then depending on the system of the roof, there's going to be a couple things that change. But for the most part, that's the way that we have to do things here in South Florida, which is very different from anywhere else in the country. So short answer to your question, anywhere in the country, you can probably turn over a roof in one day. But here in South Florida, it's going to take longer because we have a more stringent inspection process. And at a minimum, for a very small house, you're looking at least 2 days having guys working on your roof. What we typically try to shoot for is knocking out roofs within a week. However, it depends on the type of roof. It depends on the size of the roof. There's a lot of factors that are going to really make a difference. But to give you the best, most direct answer, you're looking at completing a single family home, 1,500 to 2,500 square feet. I would usually shoot for about a week and a half between mobilization, dry-in, cleanup, and we're out of there. I've seen a lot of homes where, I drive by the same locations every day, or I have the same route every day. And I've seen roofs be torn off and dried in, and I pass by, the next week, and several weeks go by, and a month goes by, 2 months go by, 3 months go by, and I've never stopped and asked to see what's going on. But it just makes me wonder what kind of issues the roofing company was having to where they couldn't have scheduled the shingle installation, they couldn't have scheduled the tile installation. So I understand where homeowners are worried about these things and making sure that their job is started and finished. But if you're working with a responsible professional company that has control of their crews and really understands how to schedule their jobs, you should be looking at no longer than a 1 week to 3 week process. Obviously there's outliers in that, but generally speaking, for a single family home lasting any longer than 2 or 3 weeks, you start to question the company that you're working with. So let's talk about some exceptions and what can possibly extend those timelines. So when you have larger, more complex roofs, those are obviously going to take more time. When you have a roof that has a lot of decking repairs or even has structural repairs, and we have to bring out an engineer to make recommendations as to what repairs we need to make in order for the roof to be a safe structure, that's going to add on some time. We're going to have to submit documentation to the building department. These things take time. Also, I talked about it in another video, doing the roofs before the rainy season is the best time to get a cheaper, faster roof versus waiting for the rainy season, where sometimes I've had 2 weeks of straight rain. I think last year we almost had 3 weeks of rain where it's just like nonstop. Maybe we got like a day or two in between. But once again, the application on our phone that we're all looking at, professionals, the lay people, we're all looking at the same weather applications. There's a huge variance. Some days it'll say it's going to be blue skies and it just pours at 10 o'clock in the morning all day. And then sometimes it'll say it's going to rain. So we tell the guys they have the day off, and then it's a beautiful day and we get phone calls. Why are you guys not here? We're using the same system. So, it does get interesting during the rainy season. The weather is going to have a big impact on these schedules and how fast the job moves along. And as I mentioned before, permits and inspections are also going to play a big role, especially if we uncover anything that was unforeseen. gate. The biggest factor that's going to separate one company from another one is having the proper preparation. So ordering the right quantity of materials, ordering the right type of materials, making sure that the materials on the permit match what was actually ordered, because that's something that building inspectors actually check for, which is a good thing. So at the end of the day, when planning is done correctly, roof replacements are efficient and they're a lot more controlled. Speed is, but it's not the ultimate goal. It's really about the execution. So if you're considering a roof replacement and you're not sure where to turn, give us a shout at Bigfoot Windows and Roofing, building trust, one window, one door, one roof at a time.